What's up? I'm Movie Hanger, and this is the action movie Boy Kills World. A young boy is trained by a shaman in the forest to avenge his family's death at the hands of a crime syndicate. The movie begins with the execution of the boy's mother and sister by the head of the crime syndicate, which traumatizes the boy for life. In the next scene, the boy emerges from the ground in the middle of the night. He was placed in a makeshift grave not for burial, but as a spirit training exercise. A mysterious shaman appears and buries him back. The boy's days and years are filled with grueling training. He learns to use a machete, shoot a shotgun, and harden his body and spirit with iron discipline and strenuous exercises. The future Avenger's routine is interspersed with memories of his mother and sister, Mina, with whom he loved playing arcade games, wandering around the city, and making obscene gestures at a monument dedicated to Hilda Van Der Koy, the head of the city's ruling syndicate. While heading to the market to sell cabbages, the boy encounters police officers. He shows an officer a card explaining that he became mute due to stress. The training continues, but even when the boy grows up, gaining an advantage in height and reach, he invariably loses to the shaman in every kind of confrontation. One day, almost winning, the young man sees hallucinations of his sister and gets distracted. That was enough to turn the tide of the fight. Besides combat exercises, the mentor teaches his apprentice to smoke various narcotic substances to heal the soul.
Yep, this is in my head.
Perhaps it was the magical smoke that taught the boy to see his sister, as she frequently appeared to him since then. At the market, the boy receives a flower from a sweet florist, but upon learning that she adores the artist Glenn Van Der Koy, he angrily throws the gift back. The police arrive at the market to stage a performance with Glenn, directed by Gideon Van Der Koy. The performance is very reminiscent of the Hunger Games. The authorities need 12 people for the selection ceremony. They are executed live as a reminder to the bandits, defeated by the Van Der Koy family long ago. The police drag residents out of their homes to gather them in the square. The boy watches the event with the shaman. Glenn reads an address through a megaphone, choosing the victims. He is interrupted by a shout from the crowd. The enraged artist grabs a gun, killing a random spectator in his emotion.
Stop shouting at me!
This leads to civil unrest. The crowd attacks the police. A local man with a machete breaks through to Glenn, and only the excellent reaction of June, a girl from the police squad, saves the artist from death. Gideon finishes off the wounded man, after which the massacre to suppress the riot begins. Although the shaman stops him, the boy decides to intervene. He fights his way through the courtyards to the Van Der Koy cars to hide in the trunk. Inside, there is a fresh corpse, but the Avenger is not deterred. The motorcade returns to the warehouse. Grabbing the vest of the deceased, the boy sneaks out. He overhears Melanie's conversation with Gideon and Glenn, but gets distracted by a hallucination, losing track of the criminals.
What the hell? You talk now?
Of course I talk.
I'm not here to play games. I'm on a mission.
We should wear disguises. I'm gonna be a ninja, but with butterfly wings.
Together with his sister, disguised as a ninja, he sneaks through the warehouse. While saving an imaginary girl from a forklift, the boy catches the attention of Glenn and his guards. A chase and fight ensue, during which his years of honed combat skills come in handy. One of the workers throws him a shotgun for help, but unfortunately, it's without shells.
Hey, boy! Cut!
Thanks.
You're welcome!
Seriously?
Oh, sorry!
Hiding nearby, the boy reads Basho's lips, who proposes that if he releases him from the chains, the prisoner will show him how to escape the warehouse. Agreeing, the young man engages in a fight with the arriving reinforcements, while Basho sneaks towards the exit. Displaying incredible agility and skill, the boy methodically takes down the guards. He and his new friend are almost ready to escape when one of the guards regains consciousness. Pumped up on stimulants, the guard challenges the boy, ignoring his wounds thanks to the painkillers, even resetting his broken jaw with his hands. This allows him to bite his opponent during the attack. The boy has to struggle before he manages to trap the guard's hand in a press. However, the guard, failing to reach the button, does a roll, tearing off his trapped hand. The boy timely places a knife, causing the junkie to lose his second limb. After ensuring that the guards are neutralized, Basho approaches the boy. Glenn appears with a gun, and during the shootout, Basho wounds the criminal. Threatening Glenn with an anvil, they learn that every year Hilda hosts a family dinner in honor of the selection. Glenn can get them in, but a weary Basho accidentally drops the anvil.
Together. Oh, shit. Oh,
Basho takes the boy to his underground comrade Benny, where they discover that the syndicate has killed all the underground fighters. To exact revenge, the newly formed partisan squad plans an operation called Family Dinner. At night, the underground fighters head to the Van Der Koy mansion. Knocking out the guards, Basho and Benny disguise themselves in their uniforms, while the boy is given a chef's outfit. Disguised as a pastry chef, he infiltrates the house, getting distracted by eating cookies with his sister. Once assured that Hilda is among the guests, the boy begins his revenge plan. With a grater in hand, he heads to the kitchen, where he changes clothes and starts a fight with the rest of the staff. After taking out a guard, he decapitates Hilda with a single blow and, rejoicing, raises his hand in triumph, but the joy is premature. The guests at the tables are not Van Der Koy. It turns out to be a trap planned by Gideon with hired actors. As Gideon gets carried away explaining his plan and moves too close, the boy takes him hostage. However, the boy is soon struck by the sneaking June, with whom he engages in a one-on-one fight as the others leave. The girl proves to be a worthy opponent, using every situation to her advantage. Grabbing a cookie during a roll to restore his HP, the boy bursts through the door. In the hallway, he grabs a family sword to even the odds against her axe. During the fight, June's helmet falls off, and the boy sees a hallucination of his sister, causing him to hesitate. The hesitation leads to another defeat. Falling down the stairs, the boy loses consciousness, recalling how a shaman took him down from a tree where he had been hanging in a noose alongside his murdered mother and sister. The young man regains consciousness tied to a chair. Gideon, attempting to find out who sent him, reveals that Hilda created the selection to combat the underground movement led by the shaman. However, fearing for her life, she has become a paranoid recluse, locked away in a shelter.
Read my lips. Not really supposed to be funny. Did she read my lips wrong, or...?
Melanie soon appears. After inspecting the captive, she takes him as a sacrifice for the selection. The boy is transported to a studio where the ceremony takes place and is tied up on stage with an electric collar placed around his neck. Hilda soon comes out to deliver a ceremonial speech. However, upon seeing the boy, she becomes nervous and deviates from her script. Hilda pulls out a gun, and Melanie steps onto the stage to escort her relative away. The show then begins. On stage, sets with the selected victims appear. Following them, animators dressed as pirates from a children's show come out and start a massacre, killing the captives. The boy remembers that Gideon had slipped a scalpel into his pocket and uses it to cut the ropes. He rushes to help the captives, but Melanie, from the control room, orders electricity to be sent to his collar. The shock causes the young man to fall, and several killers drag him to a stone. An executioner dressed in a goat costume with a hammer approaches. He swings, but instead of hitting the boy's head, he strikes the animators holding him. After neutralizing the pirates, the executioner removes the goat head, revealing Basho underneath. Benny appears, and a firefight begins. Taking cover, Basho explains that after the failure at the mansion, they had followed the Van Der Koy to the studio disguised as guards and had attacked one of the killer animators before the show started. Basho gives the boy brass knuckles with a built-in gun, and the trio begins fighting the animators and the guards. Each punch is now amplified by gunfire. Observing the events through the cameras, Melanie realizes that Gideon has betrayed her and points a shotgun at her brother. The boy and his friends continue to punish the killers, not hesitating to use shotguns. Against the boss dressed as a captain with sabers, the young man uses a knife and a carrot from a decorative snowman, then reloads his brass knuckles and finishes off the captain. At this moment, Melanie appears with the shotgun. Benny saves the boy, but receives a fatal wound himself. Basho shoots back, but also gets hit by a bullet. Enraged, the young man runs at Melanie, using the decorations as cover. Knocking her off her feet, the boy ties the woman in front of the camera, then throws the apparatus, smashing the lens and her head. Grabbing the wounded Basho, the boy heads for the exit. However, a new squad is waiting for them in the corridor. The boy engages in combat, throwing enemies around. As he strikes, he remembers all his fallen loved ones, but when the enemies are defeated, he realizes there is one more loss. Basho has died from his injuries. Near the control room, the boy finds the wounded Gideon. Gideon tells him that Hilda has been evacuated to the bunker and hands over his key card for the elevator. As the boy descends in the elevator to the bunker, a video connection is established. Hilda wants to know what drives him. The Avenger shows a drawing of his murdered sister, the only thing he has left to remember her by. Shocked, Hilda cuts off the connection. The elevator doors open. Outside, a whole squad of guards awaits, along with June, but it turns out that Hilda has ordered them not to touch the boy and to escort him to her. In the room, he sees family portraits of the Van Der Koy family, among which one catches his attention. Next to Hilda, he is depicted in his childhood along with his sister, Mina. Hilda approaches the bloodied boy and hugs him. She explains that, in reality, he is her son. The young man recalls how, in his childhood, his mother brought him to the shaman's family, who had a hand in his father's death, and ordered him to execute them. With her help, the boy killed the shaman's children and wife, but he couldn't shoot the shaman himself due to the stress. Horrified, the boy ran into the forest, where the escaped shaman found him. At first, he wanted to kill the brat, but then a more cunning plan formed in his mind. Using substances, the shaman implanted the idea in him that Hilda had killed his mother and sister. Then the shaman burned the boy's eardrums with a hot rod and cut out his tongue. Shocked by the flood of memories, the boy looks at June, who is his living sister Mina. Seeing no reaction from the guest, Hilda orders her daughter to finish off her brother.
This isn't your brother. Deal with him accordingly.
June starts kicking him, but suddenly, the boy, without thinking of defending himself, extends his hand in their secret gesture. Remembering how she hated their mother in childhood, considering her the embodiment of evil, June turns around and plunges an axe into Hilda's head.
Get back! Shut up, Grandma!
After shooting the guards, the brother and sister step into the corridor where even more guards are waiting. The reunited siblings fight their way towards the exit, using up a year's supply of ammunition. Suddenly, a heavily armored gunman appears with reinforcements. Regular bullets can't penetrate the armor, and the guards set up a stationary machine gun. When the armored gunman runs out of ammunition, the brother and sister use him as a human shield to approach and capture the machine gun. After finishing their shooting spree, they run to the elevator, not waiting for a new wave of guards. Upon reaching the exit, they see signs of a massacre in the garage. The shaman has personally come to ensure that his pupil completed the mission. He orders the young man to kill June, and when he refuses, the shaman himself challenges the girl. Donning a helmet, June attacks, but the shaman's skills far surpass hers. The shaman is about to break the girl's neck when the boy steps in to defend his sister. However, even two young opponents are no match for the shaman. He skillfully lands blows, targeting pressure points and open wounds, even resorting to biting during the fight. After stunning the boy with a powerful throw, the shaman turns back to June, smashing her helmet with his own trained head. He even uses a shard of glass embedded in his forehead as a weapon, inflicting slash wounds. The boy, enraged, attacks his mentor despite the counterattacks. He manages to rip off a bear claw talisman from the shaman's neck and uses it as a weapon. The shaman receives several cuts from the agile youth, but this does not stop him from delivering counterblows. Suddenly, hallucination of Young himself appear. He helps the boy to defeat the shaman. After slitting the deceiver's throat, the boy collapses next to him, exhausted. He then crawls to the beaten June. She asks him to leave her and go, but he lifts her up and drags her to the exit, reminiscing about how they used to escape their criminal family to play arcade games in their childhood, and the film ends there. Thank you for watching my video. Please like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment or a fat man nuclear bomb will fall on your house. See you all.